Today I'm going to do some restoration work on an E unit of a Lionel Spirit of 76 locomotive that I've managed to get. I've managed to finally collect all the pieces to it, but this is one that I was told sat on a shelf for a while. Didn't really go anywhere. I bought it off a guy at a train show and pretty much said that it had been sitting on the shelf unboxed for a good while. Never really been unboxed, so I unboxed it. Wanted to see if it worked at all, and one of the things I found is when operating, I could turn it on, it will make noise, but it runs really kind of doesn't want to completely work right. It may go one way, but it doesn't switch between the forward, reverse, and neutral like it should. So what I discovered was, and I also removed the screws ahead of time so I can make this video without removing the screws. But if you take it apart, there was a screw in the front I removed prior to this video and one in the back that holds the body on. Is that when I pulled this locomotive open and I looked, first thing I did was check right there, and don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty well corroded in here. Let's see if I can zoom in to get a better look. It's pretty well corroded. So got some moisture got to it and is in need of some cleaning or rewiring. So what I did is I got a new kit to put in there, wiring kit, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this train, I'm gonna desolder the joints there, which you can see here. I already rewired the numbers already, or numbered the wires. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna desolder these, take these off, and fix this part. I bought the rebuild kit. This particular rebuild kit I bought for the E unit. I picked up from Trains in the Attic, I believe they're called, on eBay. So I bought from them before. I really do like their products that I've gotten so far, but Trains in the Attic, and I believe it's the name. Let me see if it actually has it right here. Yeah, they put a nice little packing on it saying, you know, they'd like a 5-star rating. I did give them 5-star rating. Like I said, I've shopped with them before, and all these connectors look nice and everything. So I'm gonna rewire it. So to do that, I need to remove a few screws from here and desolder. So I'll start with the desoldering first, and then I will move on from there. Okay, I've gone ahead and desoldered the electrical connections to the E unit. I took off the wiring here and then the ones off the motor over here and labeled the motor so I know which numbers are what. And then now I'm about to remove this here. But before I do, some ways you can take out the solder. I used my solder sucking iron, and sometimes there's been times where I had to use some solder wick to pull up the hard or difficult spots to get, but this one was pretty easy to desolder. So I am going to remove the E unit now, and it's just one screw holds it in, just like most of my trains that I've done. And I always keep a little bucket around, or a little thing to hold my parts. So I'm going to take this all out of here, to which the wires are all looped around each other. So unloop them, E unit, and pull the whole E unit out. As you can see, I can pull the whole thing out. Now these are all soldered together. They all go in one spot on the train, so no big deal. I got the E unit out, and now we can take a closer look at what's going on inside. And it does look like it's pretty decently corroded in there, so let's go ahead and pop it apart. Now there's another person online I've watched on YouTube here talk about separating E units, and I've rebuilt a couple of units off of his recommendation, and because poor way of doing this because I don't have all the nice Lionel parts. So I got myself a pair of lock ring pliers from Amazon, and it works really great. You just pop the unit apart right there, stick it in there, pop it apart, and now we can take a look at what I got here. So that piece don't look too terrible. Definitely needs cleaned up. These fingers up here also don't look too terrible, but the barrel itself looks like it's seen better days. It's really corroded. They're definitely corroded there. So now a decision to be made. Either I use all new fingers and wires, which I might do, just so I have a whole new rebuilt unit, or I can take in, clean this one up, put it back together with a new barrel. So I'm gonna elect to go ahead and save these wires for a later day. Maybe I'll clean them up for a different train, but I'll go ahead and rebuild this. So stay tuned. Okay, now that I got everything desoldered and separated as seen a moment ago, I actually started putting the wiring together, and here's the new wiring that's going to go in. I will point out that ordering from Trains in the Attic, I got the nice new boards in, but then it doesn't come with the metal piece. I've ordered from other companies and it comes with the metal piece, so you might have to reuse this, and it's not hard. You just take and pull these old tabs back, pull the other one, old one off, and then put the new one on. So here's the old one I took off. All I did was bent the tabs back, popped it off, new one on there, so it's not that hard. So I would reuse the metal piece after I cleaned it up with a little bit of alcohol and everything. It looks nice, new and shiny. So we'll take and put that all in here in one sec. Now the tricky part about this, and you can do this without the need of specialized tools. Like I said, I just used the little lock ring pliers that I picked up offline. Be able to open up 9-inch lock ring pliers, and to put it all back together, when I get to that point, I'm going to use a pair of channel lock or slip joints here. Can get in there. You just basically squeeze it back in when I get to that point. But before I do, I just noticed I am going to clean this up just a little bit more before I put the parts in. Now I've cleaned up a little bit more, I'm starting to put the parts in. So I just seated this board in place. You're going to see little notches on either side. And you'll see a bunch of videos out there of people who rebuild these things. They do it all different ways. I don't think there's any... I'm sure there's a better way than what I'm doing, but this is a quick, easy way that I've been using. So I know the barrel goes in there, so what I usually do is I put the first set of fingers in, pull this here piece up out, the little change mechanism, and then I usually drop the wheel right down in place, to which then I use my pliers to make sure I'm lining it up with the holes inside. So you got the holes on this side to line up the barrel, and then one on this side. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to line those up. Unlike my other trains that I just did this to, I did to 3 other trains. This lever is in reverse from them. So it faces down instead of up. So it actually gets in the way a little bit more. But I can still get this thing in place. And the barrel's in place now on both sides. All I can do is put the last set of fingers in, which would be basically just setting in the groove there again, like I said. I usually fasten one side in and then position it to get the rest of it in. So all I gotta do is make sure that this all locks down. Get my pliers ready on here. And see if I can get this to squeeze together. It looks like my barrel slipped a little bit. That's no problem. I just slide it right back into place. not the easiest method of doing this. I've seen better ones with specialized tools, but since I don't have any, call this the poor man's way of fixing my train. I saw there's a tool someone's selling online for $69 for doing this. And I thought about buying a few times. If I do much more of these, I might do so. But $69 right now is not something I can do. So if anyone has any good 3D print ideas or anything like that to make this easier, I would certainly take it. Something that's a cheap alternative till I can get some good ones. Anyway, like I said, this does take a minute. I may pause the video long enough to finish this job. Feels like it just went in. It did. Just went in for me. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this to my vise I have over here just to make sure all the pieces are seated tight and proper. I'm trying to make sure my barrel's all good. So that barrel side's good. This side of the barrel looks like it may be, yeah, it should be in there good. So I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna take it over. I'll be right back. Okay, after putting this together, I realized that the barrel, the new one, the holes were just slightly too small for the barrel, so I had to bore it out just a little bit wider, just not much, just a little bit. So may need a file, or what I use is a drill bit that just barely fit the hole, and just run it through, just to widen it just a little bit, due to the fact that the old barrel right here, this piece right here is slightly smaller. That piece right there on the end that goes into that piece is slightly smaller than the new ones. The new one's just maybe a small fraction bigger. So now I can take a look and turn. I can actually turn this now, and it works just fine. So hopefully it works on the train. So now to wire it all up. All right, now everything's together. I soldered on the wires to where they need to go. I had to extend one wire a little bit. Got the light and everything ready to go. I took a little bit of electrical wire just to kind of, or electrical tape to do a little cable management there. But there we go. Nice looking E-unit now. Nice new pieces. Clearly see they look good. Next thing to do is test it all out, make sure it works. Okay, so time to test it. Goes wrong way. Alright, well at least it's going forward in reverse now. Might need to clean the motor out a little bit, but otherwise this looks like it's pretty close to being done. Alright, so here is the full assembled train.